Hey there. Um, Welcome back to our series on our, website ideas. This video, I want to talk about what we wrote in the website regarding healing. This word healing has taken on a lot of constructs and concepts and kind of amalgamized itself with a lot of other words and a lot of other assumptions that we've made about the idea of health over a long period of time. First, I just want to give a little bit of a framework around my journey with healing over the years. I started my journey as a martial artist, started training at 5. I always have gravitated more toward a traditional martial arts context, as that was always kind of tied in with concepts around spirituality, virtuousness, and the idea of living in a contextually holistic way. I'm also a Libra, so through my early childhood, starting at around 10, I became very interested in meditation and, in particular, Qigong. I was taught like some of the first Qigong exercises I ever worked with very early on, and they really kind of interested me as I went. So in my late teens, I decided that if I was going to continue on and be a professional martial artist and martial arts teacher, I was going to teach people how to hurt each other, and I was going to continue to study how to inflict harm. I had to also learn how to heal. That's just kind of an idiosyncrasy of myself. I'm all about kind of finding the opposites and trying to balance them. So that's really where my journey began. Um, as someone who'd practiced Japanese martial arts for as long as I did, I decided to stay within the Japanese context, and started to explore Reiki healing, before then going on to study Chinese medicine and medical Qigong, moving into doing body work. I trained as an EMT as a way of being able to deal with traumatic injuries on the mat. I then further went into studying kind of like an active approach to counseling and active listening, active speaking, being able to engage with people not just through the physical body, but through the mind body health relationship, which is really for me where we arrive at, especially in a more traditional indigenous model of health. You can't remove the mind from the body. And so my work as a body worker, a personal trainer, briefly training as an EMT, working, with self-defense, really kind of connected me to this idea of trauma. And really, for the last 10 or so years, I've been kind of deeply obsessed with the role that trauma plays in our lives, not just from a physiological, neurological perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective. This idea that karma and trauma are actually irreducibly linked to one another. The word karma and the word trauma to me actually is largely the same word. And the way that we speak to generational trauma and the way we speak to the way karma ripples through our lives is one of the most important components of what I believe we all have to do, engage with our work around healing. So, one of the early concepts, and I think for me, one of the real defining concepts of how I understand healing, comes from my early meditations on Reiki as this kind of non invasive methodology of healing. I'm not going to get into the history of Reiki or its efficacy or anything like that. What I am going to speak to is this one particular concept that I got really early on that has kind of guided my trajectory, which is that Reiki is not a system of healing you, it is a system about assisting your already existing capacity to heal yourself. So, what that means to me is that I'm actually not doing anything other than enabling and empowering a system to work more like it should as opposed to how it shouldn't. I believe that the role of trauma and the role of our competitive transactional world brings us, I mean, very, kind of simply into a sympathetic nervous system response. Something like a healing container, something like a healing space, is actually just about creating a space where your parasympathetic nervous system can turn itself on and really run the show. And effectively, at that moment, all we're really saying is this is just about creating a space where your body can do the healing work that it already knows how to do. A lot of times, you see people talk about like detoxing, right? I'm going to do a detox. All detoxing really is, like when we break it down, is saying, I'm going to stop throwing toxins into my system and let my body do what it naturally does, which is filter out toxins. I'm going to do my best to like bolster my liver, bolster my kidneys, bolster my intestinal health, my stomach health, all of that. That does the job naturally of healing, of detoxifying the body. And that just really comes down to the idea of homeostasis, right? Where we're seeking a space of homeostatic balance, right? Not too high, not too low, even. And whenever we're kind of going up, there's always going to be a resultant down. Whenever we're going down, there's going to be a resultant up. And I believe that a lot of the way that we relate to health and healing is in this inherently manic way, where we're seeking to avoid lows at all costs and seek highs at all costs, inevitably kind of linking us into this manic cycle. Our approach to healing is largely just giving people a space to feel seen, feel honored, feel witnessed, feel appreciated, feel loved, not by us, but by themselves. A lot of what we're doing is not giving healing to you, we're allowing healing to take place with you. Um, and that's a very complex thing because it is at the heart of why I believe the only way we can do this work successfully is as part of a spiritual religious tradition, as opposed to um, a business oriented model where I could turn the creation of that healing into a transaction where I say, pay me and I'll make this space where I'm healing you. But it's not true. I would be lying to you, I'd be manipulating you just in order for us to transactionally connect. So for me, the idea of healing is actually about allowing what naturally occurs, what can naturally occur, to occur without me getting in the way. Um, and in the connection, in the relationship, in the mirroring, the witnessing, the honoring, etc., there is a healing that takes place. But is that me giving something to you? Is that me holding something for you? Or is that just what occurs in the natural magic of spaciousness, of connection, of relationship, the release of oxytocin, the release of all the positive brain chemicals that occur from genuine connection? We're really talking about brain chemistry, we're really talking about body chemistry, and we're really talking about what is at the heart of humanity as a social species. What is at the heart of humanity as a species that longs for connection as part of our natural incarnation? And that to me is really what we're talking about within our healing services, right? We're not offering something to you, we're allowing something to take place with you. This is a collaborative, co-generative, co-creative process. Yes, of course, we've trained to do this work. Yes, of course, we have studied how to do the work safely. Absolutely, as it should be. But it's beyond systems, it's beyond certifications, it's beyond specific systems of working. And it's really meant to step into the ineffable nature of the way humans do their work together as a social species. Um, and for me, that space is actually the healing not just of the self, not just of relationship and connection, but of healing all of humanity. As each of us begin to heal our capacity to form relationships safely around consent, we heal humanity in its total aggregate. And that, for me, is the most important work and the most revolutionary work that we can do in this time. And to remove it from a transactional nature, to remove it from a manipulative nature, is largely the rippling out that we hope to see from our work. And it is why we have taken kind of largely vows of poverty on our own. We've chosen to live with as little as possible, as simply as possible, so that way we are able to offer that work to any who need it. And we are, seeking to live simply as a result of that. And I do believe that, for us in our ministry, that is the way that we choose to move forward. So I want to thank you very much. Blessings on your path. Whether you seek healing with us or someone else, we believe that meditation on what healing is essential for us all to engage with as we go forward in time and space and attempt to heal these rifts in humanity.